What's up, guys? Honey Addis with you here, bringing you episode 4 anime review of Goblin Slayer. This episode was pretty lit. They basically continue going through the dungeon that they just found from last episode, and they going down the dungeon hall and stuff, and they're in this weird corridor. We're going down, and they realize that in this hallway, there's paintings on the wall. And basically, these paintings describe a battle that took place years ago between the gods and stuff and the humans and stuff. And for those of you who don't know, when they say gods and stuff, they're referring to, like, I guess you can say, like, old D&D characters, like DMs and stuff, which created this word and stuff, because, you know, this was inspired by, like, fantasy / role-playing top games, mainly D&D and stuff like that, and Pathfinder. So it was nice to get that, like, that dialogue in. And when they're talking about that, they get to this room that smells real bad. And Goblin says this is, like, the room where the goblins have their feces at and stuff like that. And or boom, something like that. It's something like really disgusting place. And when they went in, there was a lot of dead bodies and skeletons and stuff we saw, but there was a female elf, you know, butt naked, tied to a wall, and she was like, kill, and he was like, okay. And the elf chick does the same thing as our priestess, that he was gonna kill her, but then she snitched out that there was a goblin hiding in the crack of the wall, and when he came out to attack Goblin Slayer, of course Goblin Slayer just one-shot him, and then they took her down from the wall, they covered her up. The lizard man had used, like, this ancient, like, shaman, because, you know, he's the shaman of the group, and he used this weird spell to turn, like, dragon claws into, like, a dragonoid human mode thing. And this little creature that he made picked up the elf girl and had a note and took her back home for the elves to, you know, take care of her and read the note. And they kept on going then. And then they found this really big area with a whole bunch of goblins just sleeping and stuff. And what they did was they waited until later on in the night when they woke up, and they had, like, combined 2 different spells. One was like a calm down, cheerful spell, and the other one was like a weird sleep spell or song, I think it is, something like that. Like, I really can't explain it, but basically, the dwarf, who's a spellcaster, and the healer, which is our main female MC, combined 2 different spells to make this powerful spell, and all the goblins just fell into, like, a really deep sleep, like coma sleep type thing. And this was all Goblin Slayer's idea, by the way. Then when those 2 was up there doing that song, Goblin Slayer himself, the lizard man, and the elf chick went in and started killing all the goblins. And before this even happened, you know, the elf chick got freaked out when she saw her own kind being beaten that condition, and she started throwing up and stuff. Excuse me. And while that's going on, she felt like some type of way towards the goblins already because of this incident. So now that she's here killing them, she's, like, stabbing them multiple times and beating some of them to death, and just, like, you can tell, like, she's really letting out her rage and anger. But then she noticed that Goblin Slayer is killing these guys with ease, and what he's doing, which is very smart, is that he's not using his weapon. Since they knocked out in this coma, he's taking their daggers and just one-shotting them in the head. Quick, easy kill. Don't have to dirty his blade or duel it. Simple. And then it dawns on to her, oh wow, he's been doing all this by himself for years. And it's like she seems to have more, like, respect for him now. Because remember in the last episode, she was like, oh, I think you're weak. But she allowed them to, you know, the female MC and Goblin Slayer to join the group. So now she's recognizing, like, the difference in, like, skill between them. And I guess she's feeling some type of way about that, but at the same time, she's kind of grateful. So she's torn between those two feelings. So they keep killing all the goblins, and there's this big door that's just shuttered out. So they all wanted to go in there, but then that's when we get, as you see in the thumbnail, a orc comes in, and basically this orc is the boss of these goblins. So I guess you can say this is like their first boss level character together, which is kind of weird because this is their first mission together, and boom, an orc, a boss level character comes out, and not just any orc, but an orc that he stated himself that he works under the demon lord, and he's one of his generals. So, and they were all attacking him and stuff, trying to blindside him, and then Goblin Slayer snuck up behind him and cut his back of his leg, hoping for him to fall. What they didn't know was that orcs have really high regeneration capability. So he was hitting from all this, and he ended up actually landing a critical hit on Goblin Slayer, which would have killed him if he would have been by himself. But thanks to his group, they actually were able to save him. And our female MC, which we still have not got her name yet, unless they said it and I don't remember, but we have not got her name yet, sadly. But our female MC, she basically snapped him out of, the little coma that he was in from that being injured, and she asked him, is there anything I can do? And he was like, let me get a potion and a stamina elixir. He drank them both. He said thank you, and then he got up to do this epic fight again, and she begged him not to be reckless. And he's like, I'm only reckless when I know I can hurry up and win. But in a situation like this, something else needs to be done. And he digs in his bag for something. We don't know what it is yet. But then the goblin tries to use, not the goblin, I'm sorry, the orc that they fight tries to use fireball spell again. Okay, he tried it earlier, but the female MC blocked it with using protection spell. She had to use 2 in a row to stop it, but she was able to stop it the first time. But now that she's completely drained out of magic and can barely move, she won't be able to help them no more. But it doesn't matter, because what Goblin Slayer was looking for in this bag was good enough to actually stop and almost, not slay him, put him down for good enough for him to actually put the final blow. And basically what it is a scroll that's used for transporting stuff. But what Goblin Slayer did with this scroll is that he enhanced it to the fact that it can hold more capability of what it should have. And basically what it was holding was sea salt water. And he shot this back at the orc, and because of how powerful this spell is in transporting now, it came out like a blade wave, and it cut right through not just the fireball, but actually ripped the orc apart as well. Just letting him be there, and all he was just a body and a head. He had no arms and legs. He just had a torso up with no arms. And Goblin Slayer stepped on him and said, goblins are worth more than you, and actually took his small sword and cut him down perfectly through the middle and killed him. And everybody's in shock and amazed that he had this low-level transfer spell, which it was just meant for, carrying things and transfer them. It wasn't really an attack scroll, but the way he hooked it up and used it, he was actually able to use it as a last resort combat trait. And the dwarf is explaining this to us, and it's really interesting, because now we know more into the mindset of how Goblin Slayer thinks, and we don't really know how he feels about things. We know how he feels towards goblins, but now we know how he thinks when it comes to terms of combat-wise, and why he's so far ahead of other people, and why he ranked up to a silver plate, even though all he does is just kill goblins. But his achievements are great, from what I heard from light novel readers, even though we don't discover them yet. But he's doing a pretty good job doing what he's doing and killing that thing. And even the female MC realizes that the chick that she was talking to last time, at the end, the sexy purple hair girl with who was a spellcaster, we know Goblin Slayer asked her for a favor a couple years back, and now we know what that favor was. So it was nice seeing that and everything. But it was good. If you hear any noise in the back, that's my computer letting me know something. But great episode. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Very beautiful episode. If you have watched it, go watch it again. But yeah, Goblin Slayer is doing very, very good. I love the animation. I love the story wise so far, and the explanation. Everything's very good. But this is all I have for you guys today. Like, comment, share, subscribe, share with your family and friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.